Hello and welcome to this new full moon yoga flow. This one we're really going to be diving into the transformation process that we get to go through, and really starting in this concept of being a seed and growing, and the ebb and flow that happens as we move through our bodies and we move into a corpse pose with a guided meditation. This practice, you might want to have 2 blocks handy, a bolster, or some pillows. All are completely optional, and I look forward to hopping in with you. So grab your mat and let's go. Great. Well, I really wanted to honor the new moon we have today and really creating a class on that. Yeah, so I'm going to have us always grab our blocks. I always like to have those nearby. And then we're gonna start in a more kind of a bunched up position, and then we're gonna open ourselves back up as we go. So if you want to, if you have a bolster too, that can be helpful. I'm going to grab mine. I think that will be good to start. Perfect. Pillows work great. Okay, so let's start in child's pose. And you can grab your mat and double it up to support your knees if you want. And you can grab your bolster or your pillows and just tuck it right at your pelvic floor. And big toes together and knees as wide as the mat. And then you can lean over the bolster just to give your body a little more support in child's pose. And then you can kind of like just play with, where that wants to go, if it's a little more under the hips or if it's supporting your full body. And if the bolster, the pillow's just not doing it for you, it just doesn't feel good, really honor that. Our extra gear is really for support, so if you're just not feeling it, that's okay. And I'm not today, so I can just offer that to keep if you want, and I'm just going to do regular child's pose myself. So wherever you're at, I just want us to drop into our breath here, really using this pose to begin to feel our breath in our belly. And maybe this is the first time today that you have noticed your breath here, or that it could even go here. And just begin to fill up your belly on an inhale. And an exhale, slowly release. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can drop into that, inhaling and exhale like you're fogging a mirror with your lips sealed. And just really dropping into the ocean of our lungs as we step into this beautiful power of the full moon. And shift into the transformation process that we get to go through. And I really just want to play here with the metaphor of being a seed in the soil and the shattering that happens underneath the ground, and then the growth that spurts up through a loosened soil into a full blooming. And so in our flow today, we're really going to go through that whole process with our bodies and just bring expansion and openness to it. And then as we finish class, we will drop into a little bit of a visual meditation during corpse pose to just help seal the integration and safety in our bodies, to help us be more open to this transformation process, into stepping into more expansion and more power within ourselves. So as we're here just in our breath, I want us to flow with the breath of inhaling, I welcome, and exhaling, transformation. So inhale, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. And really just letting this affirmation permeate our lungs. And the beautiful part about syncing up affirmations to our breath and our movement in a yoga flow is really the messages get written on a more cellular level instead of just a cognitive level. So I really love bringing affirmations into my yoga practice. So wherever you're at, go ahead and start to curl yourself up into a cat-like pose. And you can bring your knees in together if you're feeling any just heaviness in the hips. And just keep here in a little bit of a ball, chin to your chest, and really just feel into this tension here of being a ball. Using your hands gripping on your knees to open up through the shoulder space behind you. And keeping your head curled under, just like we're in cat pose. And you can just soften through the tailbone here. And then begin to lift through the low abdomen to support the low back. Beautiful. Now we're going to just slide the hands back down, letting the belly come back to the tops of the thighs. And you can draw your knees in together if they were out wide. And just curling into a little ball here. So we're going to just play with a little variation of cat-cow and just a little bit of different movement here. So inhale, slide your hands on this ground, onto your knees, and curling into our cat, chin to chest, tucking the tailbone down, engaging the low abdomen, feeling the shoulder blades draw apart from each other in the upper back body. And then exhale, curling back down. And just really noticing this tension building in the body. If you've been practicing yoga for a long time, and you're going to be like, where's the opposite pose? And just knowing that that's coming and that we have to live in this tension just for a little bit, the uncomfortability. So inhale, curling the chin to the chest, using the tension of the hands on knees to just curl in a little bit deeper, opening up through the back body. Knowing our release is going to come soon, but just holding a little bit of uncomfortable for just a second, making sure we're not equating uncomfortable with pain. If you're in pain, please come out and go into what's not painful. And exhale, slide your hands down straight in front of you, extending the spine nice and long. And we'll pick up the pace in this movement a little bit. Inhale, slide the hands back towards the knees, curling the spine chin to chest, tucking the low spine, engaging the low abdomen. And exhale, sliding the hands down, coming to extend the spine nice and long. Let's add our affirmation into this. Inhale, so we slide up. I welcome. And exhale, sliding back down. Transformation. Do 2 more rounds of this little mini flow. Inhale, sliding the hands back, finding your tension. I welcome. And exhale, transformation. Sliding the hands straight, lengthening the spine. Beautiful. From here, let's just open up just a little bit more by extending the arms out long and coming to a traditional tabletop here. And now wiggling the knees to align with the hip points underneath the hips, rotating the upper arm bones out, and just noticing just how different it feels to just even release the tension in the calves and the legs to create just a little bit of space between the thighs and the knees from being curled up so much in the lower body. And let's just do a few little hip circles here, just really isolating the low abdomen and just starting with this micro movement, saying inhale as we circle the tailbone one way, pretending like you have a little paintbrush at the end of your tailbone and you're painting circles on a canvas behind you, making sure you're drawing up out of the shoulders, ears away from the neck, nice long spine. Engaging the low abdomen to be what's your movement, creating your circle. Continuing to breathe here. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. And in your circle, if you're noticing that your hips are just kind of leaning more one way than the other, try to move your circle so that you really feel into your hips bumping to the left and the right. See if you can just bring a bigger circle with your hips into this movement here. Really engaging the low abdomen as you tuck the tailbone down and around. Letting it be where your power starts from, where this movement really begins the engagement is that core. And just feeling it light up. And now take your circle the opposite way. And see again if you can just even out your circle and your edges to go into the left and right hip as you're circling your tailbone here. Just creating this openness and this micro movement. Pulling up out of the shoulders. It's okay if your circle starts to look like, a figure 8 or an oval or teardrop. It's all right if it doesn't look very particular, as long as we're just really being aware of an engagement here in the abdomen and lifting up out of the shoulders, pressing into all fingertips. Moving with the breath. Beautiful. Let's tuck the toes now. Sit back on the toes and just open up through the fascia of the feet as you walk the hands back towards the knees. You can stay here with your hands just kind of gently placing on the ground, or you can come to sit up on the knees. If this gets to be a little intense, grab your block nearby and you can sit up on your block. You can play with, stacking your block however feels right. And opening your knees up a little bit more if that feels good. So just opening up through the fascia of the feet, just taking a break off the wrists for a second, maybe doing little zombie arms and pretending like you're swimming with just your hands. Little doggy paddle. Good. Let's go dive back forward into our tabletop, untuck the toes. And now let's do our micro movement just in our shoulders. So really just with the heart space. You're going to feel this movement with your chest. And you're going to create little circles just with your chest. And this might feel kind of interesting to do this as you just isolate the upper body. Make sure here you're engaging the low abdomen to keep the low back nice and long. And it doesn't have to be super big movements with the chest and the heart dropping down and up and around. It can be very micro, but just really opening up through this space, adding in a little bit of circles with the shoulders if that feels good. There's no really right or wrong way to do this movement. It's more about just creating space in the upper body and just this micro movements and this symbolism for our body of what it means to be a seed that's in transformation and the little movement it makes to break through the soil. And if you had a circle going one way, go ahead and take it now the other way. Really just feeling the energy light up in your shoulders here. Continuing your breath. And if it feels good to add in your statement, I welcome, inhale, exhale, transformation. Beautiful. If you didn't take your circle the other way, go ahead and do a few more the other way. And then this time, let's go ahead and cross the ankles and come to sit back in simple seating, coming up off the wrists just for a second. And we'll do a little bit of twists just to continue to open up. So inhale, draw your shoulders up towards your ear, and exhale, engage the shoulder blades together. And I like to place my hands just a little bit behind me to just really open up through that shoulder space, just doing a little check in the tummy that we have the lift up, the Uddiyana Bandha lift. And then exhale, we're going to place the right hand on the left knee. Inhale to find a little bit of length. And then exhale, twisting at the low abdomen first, then the ribs, then the shoulders, and then finally the neck. Relaxing through the hips here. Inhale, find a little bit of more length through the spine. And exhale, release. Seeing if there's a little bit more of a twist. Try not to crank it with your hand. I like to just take my hand off my knee just for a second and just make sure I'm not pulling. Really letting our core doing the twist here. Letting the breath open up more spaces on your exhales. Inhale, giving yourself so much nourishment. And exhale, seeing if there's a little bit more depth. Inhale to nourish. Exhale, find a little more depth. Good. Inhale brings you back through center. Placing the left hand now on the left knee, on the right knee, and the right hand back behind your tailbone. Inhale to find length. Exhale, twist at the belly first. Then the ribs, go nice and slow. Exhale into the shoulders. And then the head over the right shoulder or straight to the right side of the mat. Release through the hips if they've been creeping up. Find a nice long spine. Inhale, fill up, nourish. Exhale, finding a little bit more depth. Inhale. Exhale. I really love this vision of a worm in the ground. How when it like inches forward, it actually has to go back. It looks like it goes back a little bit more. And I really love that. Really what our lungs do is we like inch forward and we go back a little bit more, and we inch forward and go back a little bit more. And I like that metaphor as you go into twists. Beautiful. So inhale and exhale, come back through center. And now let's bring the knees into the chest here and just give the knees a nice little squeeze. So stacking the arms over each other. And then you can grab onto the thighs here if that feels good. Inhale, find length through the spine. And then exhale, we're going to curve into a little ball. And again, inhale, find length through the spine. And exhale, curve into a little ball. I know it just feels like we're just staying kind of in this same movement of being tight. But we're just really pulling in the tension of our bodies as we inhale to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, curving into a little ball. And as we continue, we're just going to be expanding and opening just a little bit more spaces to find our full blooming, our full transformation. Good. Inhale, find length here. And then this time we're going to grab the back of the thighs and come into a boat pose. So grab the back of the thighs, or you can interlace the wrists, grabbing on one wrist to the other. And then start to just lift the heels up off the ground, finding a nice long spine. Lower abdomen's already engaged. And then you can play with lifting one foot up off the ground. And then the other, coming into supported boat here. And see if you can find your breath and your balance here. And it's okay if you play with dipping one toe down and the other, doing a little like kickstands as you play and find your balance here. And then let's all exhale and lower our feet down. Go ahead and release your hands just for a second. Give them a little shake. And then let's drape our upper body forward. Just a little counter tuck in here. Good. Inhale. Now find length. Exhale. You can place maybe just your hands in the back of your thighs, or you can place your hands coming out to the side and coming into boat pose. So wherever your hands are, you were in the back of your thighs. Open up through the chest, the heart space, shoulder blades really drawing together. Lifting one toe off the ground and then the other. Seeing if they can come parallel, shins and feet parallel with the ground. Really feeling an engagement here in your inner thighs. And then play here with your balance. Maybe letting go of one hand on the thigh, then the other. Inhale, open up through the chest. Make sure you're not curling in there. And then exhale, release back down. This time, let's go ahead and open up the feet into a butterfly pose. If you have your bolster or pillow, I really love this to just support the hips just for a second. If you have sensitive hips like me, I need that support. If you don't, and you really just want to open up through your groin area here, you can come into whatever feels good. And heels closer into the center of the body is going to deepen this stretch, and heels away from the center of the body lessens the stretch. So just honoring where you're at and meeting your edge and not your pain. And inhale, let's find length through the spine, and exhale, drawing the elbows out. And you can use this to deepen the stretch a little bit as you gently press on the calves or the knees with your elbows and shining your heart forward, and then coming into a fold here. And let's continue to use this wave of movement we've been creating. Inhale, finding a little bit of length through the spine. And exhale, seeing you can find a little bit of depth. And just keeping a little flow here with the breath in the spine here. Inhale, find a straighter back. And exhale, curving down. And just creating a little wave with your spine as we inhale. I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Inhale, curling the spine in, finding length, and exhaling straight down. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Go ahead and stack the spine now. Back up tall. Remove your bolster or pillows if you had one. Bring the knees back into the chest. Let's come take boat pose one more time. Inhale, open up through the heart space, shoulder blades drawing together, engaging those back lat muscles. Lifting the heels up off the ground. Hands can be on the back of the thighs here if you'd like. Lifting one foot up off, and then the next. Finding your boat pose. Maybe this time playing with one hand coming out and then the other. You can play with straightening one leg if you want, and the other. Embrace any beautiful shake of your muscles rewriting themselves, keeping the chest open and your breath flowing. Beautiful. And gently release. Let's go ahead and cross the ankles now. Come through simple seated straight into our tabletop. And now let's just open up through the hips just a little bit more. Let's stacking the shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees. Knees are on two different railroad track. Upper arm bones rotating out, pulling up out of the shoulders. Lower abdomen still engaged. Exhale, slide the right toes back like you're on skis or skates. And then let the right foot hover. Press the right toes up towards the sky like you're stamping them on the ceiling. And let's just do a couple pulses here as we really open up through the hips and engage the muscles. I love how very often when there's an opening here in yoga, there's also contraction and this push and pull of growth. Good. Go ahead and exhale, release the foot nice and long. Continue to hover the toes up off the ground, toes pointing towards the ground, feeling that inner thigh engagement, lifting up through the abdomen, and then lowering the right toes down to the ground. Bring the right knee back underneath the right hip, and then extend the left toes long behind you, sliding them back like you're on skis. Low abdomen engaged, inner thigh engaged. Inhale, hover the toes up off the ground. Beautiful. Exhale, stamp the foot up on the ceiling, giving baby pulses here, just opening up through that front hip flexor. Continuing to breathe. Good. And now exhale, extend the leg out long behind you, letting it hover just for a few seconds, toes pointing down. And exhale, release. Let's go ahead and curl the toes under, coming into a little bit your bum to your heels, and then lifting your bum up from here, coming into downward facing dog. Really pressing into the fingertips, upper arm bones rotating out, feeling this beautiful open space here as we've been curled up, and creating a little more expansion in our body. Take your dog for a little walk. Pressing your heels into the floor, bending one knee at a time. Coming back to our breath, if it's been bypassed for movement. Inhale, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Now coming to the tips of your toes, and now we're going to hover the knees back down, coming back into our little ball, knowing that growth isn't linear. Sometimes we have to contract back to come in and examine a little bit more. Walking the knees back into tabletop. Exhale, extend the right leg long behind you. Let it hover off the ground. Inner thigh engaged, toes pointing down. This time, stamp the foot up towards the ceiling, and we're going to open up through the hips, making circles one way. Sometimes we start to open up through spaces and we realize, oh, I didn't nourish that one part super well. We need to go back and do that. And as we continue to grow and expand into our transformation, we can often feel this contraction that comes after a lot of expansion. And just honoring that that's a natural cycle and that's okay. I love how flowers do this every day. When they're blooming, they'll open up a little bit more as the sun comes out, and then as the sun goes down, they close back up. And it doesn't mean that they're not growing or not going to bloom. It just means that they're in a cycle of nourishment, of honoring where they're at. Go ahead and take your circle now, the opposite way. Embracing any shake in the body as we're building these muscles. Exhale now, extend the right leg out long, let it hover for a second, and drop the right knee back down underneath right hip. Moving into the left side now, extending the left leg out long, pulling up out of the shoulders, hovering the left toes up off the ground, stamping the foot up on the ceiling, now taking hip circles with the knee. And just continuing and really nourishing your breath here. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Inhale, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Take your circle now the other way. Just really honoring this movement and this opening up the hips here. Beautiful. Now extend the left leg out long, let it hover just for a second, and then lower the left knee down underneath the left hips. Tuck the toes under, draw the bum towards the heels first, and then curling the tailbone up, coming into our downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and walk the hands back to the feet, coming into a forward fold on the back edge of the mat. Take a little ragdoll here. Coming up off the wrists just for a little second. And if you'd like to just massage the wrists just a little bit, go ahead and place your weight into one heel, lifting one toe up off the ground, and then sliding your fingertips underneath that left arch of your foot. And then you can use your hands, your toes here to massage the bend in your wrists. And just being mindful to not put too much weight in here, just listening to what feels good and stopping if it doesn't. And then you can play with doing this on the other side. Just placing the hand underneath the foot and letting the toes massage the wrists. And then you can play with both wrists if you like. And if you're like, I don't touch my toes, it's okay. Bend your knees more and you'll have more access. Beautiful. Go ahead and release. And then let's walk our hands back out into our downward facing dog. I know we went to open up to mountain, but we're still growing. We're still changing. We're still breaking through that soil. Take your dog for a little walk here. And now inhale, sweep the right leg up high. And then exhale, draw the knee in towards the nose, coming through plank. Inhale, extend the right leg up high. And exhale, lower the right toes down. Inhale, sweep the left leg up high now. Coming to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, come through plank. Exhale, go back to your three-legged dog. Inhale, lower the left leg down. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, let out some hot air. And now inhale, slide forward into plank. Or you can lower the knees down into supported plank, really honoring the length in the spine here. And then exhale, come through a chaturanga or a belly flopper. Welcome. Come to the belly. Resting the forehead on the ground. Feeling this glorious release of extending the body out long, but still being grounded. Fully touching the earth. Knowing the blooming, the transformation process isn't always linear. Sometimes you go down before you go up. Sometimes you go sideways. Good. Inhale, let's lift up through the chest, hovering the hands, baby cobra. Shoulder blades drawing together, pressing to the tops of the toes, tops of the hips. And exhale, release. Good. Inhale, pressing into the palms, lifting up through plank or half plank. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Good. Go ahead and walk the hands back towards the toes. Generous bend in the knees. As you drape the upper body over, taking another ragdoll or massaging through the wrists if that feels good. Just taking time for nourishment. This most beautiful part about transformation. It's time for honoring the shifts and how far we've come and all the work we've done. Good. Go ahead and release your hands if they were tucked under your toes. Let's walk back out to our downward facing dog. And inhale, sweep the right leg up high. Exhale, this time stamp the foot up on the seal, bending at the knee. Open up through the right hip, stacking the hip. Good, and then exhale, drawing the knee into the nose through plank. And then inhale, extend it out long. Exhale, knee to nose, and this time step it forward, coming into our high lunge. Go ahead and open and widen up your stance if you need to with the back foot. Stacking the right knee over the right ankle, placing one hand on the right knee. You can lower down and grab your blocks nearby if you need to, using those to support you as you come up through high lunge. And when you feel ready, inhale, sweep your arms up high. Really noticing here this space, how it feels so good to open up this much. But we're still in a little bit of contraction here with the knee and still close to the ground in our lunge. Beautiful. Exhale, let's open up to warrior two. Pivoting to the back toes, checking if that right knee is over the right ankle and you can still see your big toe. Opening up through the chest here. Pinkies drawing back. Gaze can look over your right shoulder. And let's play with opening the hands actually up towards the sky versus palms down. Really engaging the low abdomen, inner thighs here, and not dumping into the knees or feet. Feeling the support we've been building. Good. Now inhale with that left hand. Let it pivot along with your back toes, coming back into our high lunge. And then exhale, lower the hands back down on the ground. Grab your blocks if you need to. And then placing the hands framed around the right foot. Step back through plank. Chaturanga here, or lowering to the belly. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. On your inhale. And exhale, lower the spine back down. Inhale, lift up through plank. Coming to your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's go through the other side. Inhale, sweep the left leg up high. Bend at the knee. Open up through the hips, stacking the left hip over the right. Anchor that left shoulder down. Inhale, draw the knee up into the nose, coming through plank. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Step it forward through the hands. Give it a little help if you need to. Wiggle that right foot out to the right edge of the mat just to give yourself a little bit more support here in your high lunge. Grab your blocks on next to your feet to help you come up into your high lunge. Low abdomen really engaged here. Sweeping the arms up high. Drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Generous bend in the back knee to just help the spine get in alignment here so your hips aren't tilted too much. Really lifting the heel off the ground here. Beautiful. Exhale, pivot open into warrior two on the back toes. Weight into the right blade of the back foot. Left knee stacked over left ankle. Check in, you can see your big toe. And opening up through the chest, pinkies drawing back. Again, let's flip the palms up this time instead of down. Just really coming to a place of receiving in this transformation. Really pausing here to come back into your breath. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. With that right hand, sweep it down and around as you pivot on the back toes, coming back into your high lunge. And then exhale, framing the feet as you lower down, step back through plank or half plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or belly flop to inhale to cobra, wherever you're at. And exhale, lowering back down. Inhale, come up through plank to downward facing dog. Really take a deep, nourishing breath here. And exhale, open mouth, exhale, let some heat out. Good. Inhale, walk the hands back towards the feet, coming into our forward fold. Good. Take a little ragdoll here if that feels good. Or massaging the wrists again. Good. And exhale, walk the hands back out into downward facing dog. Let's keep adding on. Inhale, sweep the right leg up high. Exhale, bend at the knee. Inhale, stack the hips. Good, you can stay here. If wild thing's in your practice, you can move into wild thing. So go ahead and if you want to move into wild thing, or you can just stay opening the hips, anchoring the right arm down. If you want to move into wild thing, micro bend in that left knee as you lower the right toes back down to the ground, a little off your mat probably. Placing your weight into your left hand, sweeping the hips up towards the sky, extending through the left leg, nice, straighten it out, and then extending the right arm long behind you, opening up through the hips, in the chest, and then exhale, coming, cartwheeling back the way you came, stepping into that left foot, extending the right leg out long behind you, and then exhale, bringing the knee to the nose. Inhale, extend the leg out long. Exhale, knee to nose. Beautiful. Step the foot up. Come through our high lunge. Open up your stance. And then stack the spine, sweeping the arms up high. Widen your stance a little bit. And that'll help you find your balance. Wiggling those left toes out to the outer edge of your left mat. Beautiful. And exhale, coming into our warrior two. Open the palms up. Really finding our growth and our expansion here. Inner thighs engaged. Check in with the knees over the ankle. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep the left arm back and down as you pivot on the back toes, coming to your high lunge. And exhale, lower down, framing the foot. And we're going to lower down into half plank. Exhale, come to lower the belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower the belly. Inhale, up through half plank. And exhale, uncurl the toes into your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale, let some air out. Now let's go the other side. Inhale, sweep the left leg up high. Bend at the knee and stack the hips. Anchor through that left shoulder here. Stay here, or if you'd like to play with Wild Thing, you can bend at the right knee. Lower the left foot back behind you. As you bend into that left knee, straighten the right leg, lifting the hips up, extending the left long arm behind you. Open it up through the chest. Keep breathing here. And exhale, uncurl yourself. Pivot up on those back toes. Extend the left leg out long behind you. Beautiful work. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, straighten through the leg. Exhale, knee to nose as you step up through your high lunge. Widen your stance here. Inhale, stack up. Sweeping the arms up high. Beautiful. Exhale into your warrior two. Open the palms here. Inner thighs drawing up and in. Pushing into the right outer edge of the right foot. Left knee over left ankle. Make sure you can see your big toes. Breathe here. Feeling this expansion, this heat you generated, this space you're accessing, the strength you're accessing. Beautiful. Sweep the right arm back and down as you pivot on the back toes, coming into your high lunge. Exhale, frame the left foot. And we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. And then exhale, drop to the knees, coming to our child's pose. Back to the ground for just a breath. We're the flower blooming that's curling back in after a beautiful day of opening up. Really coming back to your affirmation, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Inhale, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Now we're going to go through that flow one more time. Just picking up the pace just a little bit and adding a variation in. So inhale, bring yourself up through tabletop, curling the toes through downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up high. Exhale, bend at the knee. Stack the right hip. Drop the back foot down into Wild Thing, pressing into the right foot, extending the left leg out long, lifting the hips up as you sweep the right arm back. Opening up through the chest, low abdomen engaged to protect the low spine. Exhale, flipping back over, extending the right leg out long. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen the leg. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, sweep up to your high lunge. Exhale, open up to warrior two. Flip the palms here. And now this time we're going to open up to open A. Pivot on the front heel here as you open up, toes pointing to the outer edge of the mat. Sweep the arms up and open, coming into star pose. I love this pose. This is the most expansive pose. I feel like this is the flower fully bloomed pose of yoga. So really just, you can close your eyes here just for a quick minute. Just feeling gratitude for all the places you've been, all the growth you've done. Even just right now, I'm building up to this pose. And the heat your body's generated. And the expansion it's had. Beautiful. Pivoting on those front toes, coming back all the way through your high lunge. Exhale, folding down. We're going to skip our vinyasa here. Step back straight to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up high. Bend the left knee, stack the left hips over the right hip. And bend at the right knee as you lower the left foot back down for your Wild Thing, which is optional. Extend through the right leg. Extend the back arm, open up through the hips and the chest. Low abdomen engaged here. Exhale, curling back around. Inhale, extend the left leg out long. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg out long. Exhale, knee to nose, step the left foot up. Open your stance up with your right foot. Inhale, sweep open. Exhale, warrior two. Flipping the palms up. Now inhale, pivot the left toes as you come into star pose on the other side. Beautiful. Really taking up space here. And this time just really stepping into a gratitude for maybe an internal transformation you've gone through as you open up through star pose. Really pressing in the outer edges of both feet. Softening the tailbone down, lifting up through the heart space. Beautiful. Now pivoting on those back toes, bending through the right knees, sweeping the right hand up, pivoting on the right toes as you pivot back through your high lunge. Exhale, folding over to frame the foot, stepping back to downward facing dog. And then exhale, this time walk the feet towards the hands. Taking a ragdoll for a quick second, and then inhale, roll up to mountain. Inhale, sweep the arms up high. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Beautiful. Just taking a moment here of gratitude. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Inhale, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Sweep the hands down and up. And exhale, forward fold. Come back into a squat. And then lower the hips down. You can come to rock and roll now if you'd like, or just lower to the back. Whatever feels good. And wherever you're at, just draw the knees into the chest here as we just cool the body down. And then let's drop the knees over to the left side of the body, coming into a supine twist. Right shoulder anchors down as you look and gaze over your right hand. Right arm can extend out long. Left hand can gently graze the right thigh. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Really deep nourishment here. It's our breath that brings the depth. Beautiful. With that left hand and your low abdomen engaged, draw your knees back into the chest. And then rolling over to the right side with the hips and the knees stacking on top of each other. And then gaze comes over your left shoulder as you anchor the left shoulder down. And extending the left arm out long next to you. Right hand can come to gently glide on the right thigh. Just really relaxing the low spine, really nourishing it with the inhale, finding expansion, and exhale, finding surrender. Inhaling, I welcome. Exhale, transformation. Beautiful. Use that right hand on that right thigh. Engage the lower abdomen to bring the knees back up into the chest. Give the knees a good squeeze here to just reset the sacrum. Maybe draw the knees in one circle one way and then the other. Option to take a happy baby if you'd like, or a quick cow face on each side. Just to give one last little opening through the hips. Beautiful. And then slowly untwisting, releasing whichever pose you were doing. Let the feet slide long. Just really noticing their glide all the way down as you extend the spine nice and long. Coming into your corpse pose. If you have your bolster or your pillows still close by within reach, you can slide those underneath your knees to just give a little extra support for your low back. And just coming into a really beautiful resting posture. You can slip socks back on or grab a blanket, throw over you if you'd like. Just really going slowly if you do pause to put something on you. Just really dropping into the breath here. And the stillness. As we take our mind through a journey of this transformation, using our imagination that we are a bulb in the ground, this beautiful mass that has been storing up energy all winter, resting, receiving. Now spring is coming. And imagining your roots growing down. It may feel a little odd at first that you know your destination is up. But you need to go down first to go up. So you grow one root out and then another into this beautiful tangle network that can communicate exactly what it needs with the earth, its foundation. Imagining now shoots breaking open from the center. Feel a little painful, but you know it's worth the growth. It seems very intense, but you know what it's going to result in. And so you take a deep breath in and a deep sigh out, just bringing peace back into this process. And continuing to grow through the soil, and the shaking, the soil rumbles around you. This little dance with you as you cut through the soil that's softened and thawed with the sun. And your first shoot makes it up. And you feel another rumble through the soil. Another shoot makes it up. You feel so glorious the moment that touches the sun that's peeking out. You kiss your first raindrop sliding straight down through the center. And you drink it up as it's pure gold. And the sun comes back out and you wiggle and grow a little bit taller. Another leaf blooms. and another. You're getting taller, and the shoots next to you, straight from the same root, grow with you. You keep growing and growing. And then your bloom starts to come out. It's really small at first, the color just barely noticeable. It's breaking out. It closes in and wraps itself around itself. And as the sun comes out more, and the rain drips down your center, nourishing you, you feel at peace and ready to show your color, your glory. Begin to open up and expand. As the night comes, you draw back into rest, thankful for all the beautiful glory you've gotten to dwell in. You come out again with the sun and expand fully in this cycle and journey of blooming. I'm just resting now in thanksgiving, gratitude for this journey you've been on, this transformation that's already complete, the glory and beauty you've embodied and experienced. Beautiful. Wherever you're at, go ahead and roll to your right side when you feel ready. Take your time. Using your bicep as a pillow, stacking your right hand right in front of your chest. And then using that palm, pressing into your left palm to sit yourself up. Whenever you're ready, take your time. Just taking a moment to let the spine recalibrate. And let's bring the hands to heart center. This gentle bow. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you really enjoyed this practice, I encourage you to share it with a friend and invite them in to try our membership for 7 days for free. And I look forward to seeing you on your mat again. Let me know how you're doing below in the comments, or tag this on social media. And I look forward to practicing with you again.